G'day folks, this is another gear review. These are little fire lighters using the same principle as the fire steels. It's got a striker and a flint down the side of it. In a conversation with Waveman not so long ago on the forum, he's had more experience with these. He said they weren't very good, he had problems with them. So I don't know whether it was this particular one or a more upmarket one. So I'll persevere, and he said one of the problems that he experienced, and I have with these too, is that just screw cap out. Okay, the body of this is made out of plastic, screw thread on the striker. But the problem is, Waveman experienced it, and I did with one too, is that it's very easy to cross thread this when you put it back in there. The fuel that these use, it's advertised to use unleaded petrol or gasoline, kerosene or lighter fluid. So today, when I strike one up, I've just used lighter fluid in it. The problem I found with these cheaper ones is, if we get a close-up, a little bit sticking out the end there, that's the actual striker on the flint rod running down the side of the lighter. There's also a cotton wick in there which soaks in the fluid you put in there, run it down the side to get a spark, and it lights itself. The problem I found with these cheaper ones was, once the wick's burned down, I don't know how to replace them. I've tried to pull the striker out and I can't budge it. So that's something to be aware of. There's the round types and the rectangular types. So if you're looking at these or interested in them, just be aware of that. According to Waveman, and he's had more experience with it, they're not very reliable. Principle is good, the idea is good, so it's just the quality that's a problem. So I had a look around online and I found these two work off the same principle, much better quality, and if we get a close-up, you can see there that the wick used in that is actually Zippo wick. I don't know if you can actually see it in the camera. There's a little copper braid in there, which is typical of Zippo wicks they use in the lighters. Okay, also the striker, that's it there. It can be pulled out with a pair of pliers or multi-tool or something like that, so that you can replace the wick as it burns down, as opposed to these where I haven't been able to so far. The actual container itself is all metal, very light metal, weighs a little bit more than these. Again, flint rail down the side there. You can hang it off a keychain if you want to, it's a bit bulky for that, for my liking anyway. But these are pretty good. I've done a few tests on these ones, these better quality ones. Throw in your EDC bag, your grab bag, BOB, whatever you want to call them this week. It's another means of lighting a fire, and I've got to say, with the better quality ones, once you get them lit, they do give off a lot of flame, they run very hot, they can be used as a very, very short-term candle. The shape of the match itself, makes it a lot easier to light oil lamps, possibly candles, things like that. Very, very limited fuel capacity in here, so that's something you might have to be aware of. But certainly another method of lighting a fire. Yes, it's a modern method, but it may be something worth looking at. Okay, back in a minute. Okay folks, This one's got fluid in it. Just simply unscrew the top. It has a rubber seal on it so you don't get any leakage out of there while it's being stored. A safety feature of this, so when you're trying to strike this, put your finger over the top there, over that opening. Remember, you've got flammable fluid in there, and you've got this, so be very careful of that, be very aware of it. So whatever fluid you're using in there, whether it's lighter fluid or whatever, certainly when you pull this out you get a little bit of spillage on top, and some of the fluids give off fumes, so you really don't want to put this near the top while it's open, or you finish up with a Roman candle type effect. Okay, let's see if we can light this up. I don't know if you can see the spark there. There we go. It's quite a good flame, very wind resistant. These are also claimed to be waterproof while it's put together. So you can see that's quite a good flame. Okay, I'll blow it out. Now, once you've blown it out, make sure that you don't have any smouldering wick there, or any embers on the wick before you put it back in there, otherwise you've got a potential fire hazard. It's just a case of putting that back in there, screwing that down, and away we go. That wick with the fluid in there will draw it up as through the wicking action, ready to go again. So that's just a small test. I haven't actually tried these in the field. See how well they stand up to being bashed and smashed around out there, but certainly these ones are a much better quality than this type here. So you get them online. I don't know if you can get them from shops or camping stores or any of that sort of thing. So that's a small review on those. So Wave Man, if you're watching this, I don't know which ones you used. I did find a problem. Yes, there was a problem with cross-threading the match in the top. It's all plastic, whereas on these ones it's not a problem so far. So that's where it is at the moment. So soon I'll get out in the bush. I've made up my fire kit. I'll throw this in there and give it a good flogging and see what happens. Thanks very much for watching, folks.